Hey family, it's me, your girl Melissa D, Coach Mel. This is the last and final night of our Activate Your Voice 5-day Go Live challenge. And you guys have made it to the end. Listen, one thing I know about doing challenges is the moment you say the word challenge, it's you should know it's not gonna be easy. That everything possible will come in like opposition to stop you from doing the challenge. And like I said on day one, being consistent and posting and sharing content, particularly live videos, because it does take an amount of energy mentally to be prepared, physically, if you want to, have a certain look or polish to it. It's commitment. It takes a lot of work. So I got to give it to you guys. You are dedicated and you stuck in there with me. And I'll also be honest that I was committed to finish this no matter what time I posted, no matter how I had to get it done. And so I thank you all for being my accountability to share with you the Go Live Challenge. Remember, we started this journey 5 nights ago, and I have to admit, I'm going to celebrate my success in going live 5 days straight. I'm also celebrating you all. I've seen you guys get on. I've seen you go to YouTube and watch the replays. I've seen your live videos where you're shouting out and tagging the challenge. So thank you so much. I'm sending you a lot of virtual love and rounds of applause for sticking to the commitment. Again, if you missed any of it, don't feel bad. The replay, you can go through the timeline and see the videos on the Activation Hour Coaching and Consulting page. You can also subscribe to the Activation Hour YouTube channel here. I've dropped it in the comments for you. Our YouTube channel is there for you. It's easily accessible to actually check out what we have going on. There's tons of webinars there. I love the fact that you, my audience, keeps me accountable and you guys tell me what you want to see. You've been telling me what you want to actually learn. Hey guys, welcome. Come on in. We're just jumping on and wrapping up the last night, the last day, day 5. Y'all are some real troopers. Danielle, you came back. I'm so excited to have you here on the broadcast. Hope you checked out the YouTube channel. I dropped the link here. If you missed any of day 1, 2, 3, 4, all videos are now uploaded here. I'll drop the link to the Activation Hour YouTube channel. You just want to click right here below my name and subscribe and turn on your notifications because there's much more where this came from. We're going to keep it going. This was also a challenge to myself to finally put out and produce quality value work. And so, if you've been joining me and you've been rocking with me for a while, you understand that I'm a big believer in releasing content at the right time. Sometimes you create things or you have ideas for videos, classes, webinars that are great ideas in your head. Thank you so much for checking it out to subscribe. I've learned over the years that just because content comes in your head right now doesn't mean it's for this season. And so that's why I'm very excited to finally, at the end of this challenge, release the 5 ways to activate your sales and humanize your brand interactive ebook. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. It's definitely for community and viewers and supporters like you and so many of you who are literally taking this to heart. I had a reason I'm coming on a little later today is I had coaching clients who were really applying this. They've seen increased traffic. They've also seen connectivity and really people buying into their stories. So tonight is very special to me to really celebrate each and every one of you who are doing it. So again, there are links to this ebook if you've been joining me on this journey in the community. You can get a free copy of this book only if you participate in the challenge after tonight. The book will no longer be free because the videos will be attached as a companion along with some interviews. I've had some amazing subject matter experts on storytelling, crafting your message in your story. So I want to give you as much value as possible as you continue to tell the story. So one of the things that was really important to me in this entire challenge was to make sure, hey, that's cool to do this for 5 days, but what's the long-term impact of this challenge. And so the long-term impact that I'd really like to see is for you to stay energized while you humanize. Energize while you humanize. And that is an incredibly hard thing to do. If y'all are with me, just type that in the comments. Energize while you humanize. That's really hard because what happens is that we start off very excited about the challenge. It's like, well, hey, I'm going to start this race, or hey, I'm going to start this business, or yes, I'm going to go live. And it happened to me, just being transparent. Night one, I said, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to share my story. I'm going to really show them behind the scenes what it takes to tell your story. Night one, we talked about vocalize, and I shared finally, openly, some things behind my business, which inspired the activation hour. And you guys were like, wow, I never knew the backstory. And then on night two, we talked about humanize. Yes, thank you, Danielle. Energize, and you will humanize. Here's the thing, it takes a lot of energy to go live and be consistent. And quite honest, some days you just don't have it. I think the hardest day for me, quite honestly, was day three. I mean, right in the middle. And oftentimes, the middle of something is the hardest part. But if you can just push through that middle part, it's like, oh, if I could just get over the mountaintop, if I could just get over this speed bump, if I can get over this low day, it's like downhill from there. It becomes easy, and it becomes almost like a habit. You're creating a new habit. And so, what I'll tell you with tonight's final fifth law of activation, or activating your story, you have to be energized. Find things that give you energy. Like tonight, what honestly, you guys are what energized me. I said in my mind, I said, wait, I could easily go to bed tonight and they'll forgive me. I'll get up tomorrow. I'll do a live tomorrow. It's okay. I'll skip a day. But that's like a fatal mistake in consistency, is to tell yourself or give yourself permission to skip a day. And I began to look back at your comments and look back at the people who were, tagging and shouting out the challenge. And I looked at the views and I said, no, I'm accountable to my community. And that's a part of making the commitment to tell your story, is once the story is out there, you're accountable to your community. And so it's very important to have a made up mind that you're in it for the long haul. Now, if you've been watching since video one, you know this all started because I'm in a coaching group, international coaches, where our coach said, hey, I'm challenging you to post some piece of content. Doesn't have to be a live video, but he said some content, whether it's a podcast, to write an article or blog or a live video every day for the next 365 days. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. You had me. I mean, I could probably do one good day, or I might be able to give you something good once a week, but 365, that's major. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to take baby steps. And if I can get my community to do this with me for 5 days, then maybe we can add five more, and then five more after that. And so that energy is going to give us the momentum to complete what we started. So again, just want to end on a really high note here. Let me just pull up where we left off here in the book. Here's the table of contents. As you go through them, now the videos are going to mean that much more to you. In the e-guide, in the ebook, I tell more of my story. I tell little life anecdotes and very real situations in business where this was so important. You're right, Danielle. The middle is a difficult place. You have two choices: to stay there or go forward. You got it. You got two choices when you're in the middle. You can't go backwards because now you're regressing. You can't go around it because then it's going to take you forever. So you might as well just go ahead and go through it and finish it. I absolutely love that. So again, night one, vocalize. If you missed any of the challenge, what I am putting back out there for you to do, it's okay. We can still go back and pick up the pieces and apply this. There's some of this that I'm going to go back and perfect, like the vocalization. I was working with a client today, and I asked her, I said, okay, what's your activation story? And that's actually one of the questions I asked when the activation hour started as a radio show. It was the first question I asked every single guest on my radio show. What's your activation story? Meaning, something happened in your life that activated you where you were going on about life as normal. You were just living your good life. And then all of a sudden, bam, some life event happened where you said, hey, I gotta do something different. You may be a fitness trainer now because one day you said, hey, I can't live like this anymore. I want to get healthy. And it sparked a passion for you to get healthy and see other people healthy. So you got to tell that story. For me, my activation story, if you've heard it before, like I started the activation hour because I was working with youth and I was teaching them writing and speaking to tell their story. And when they said, Miss Melissa, you didn't tell your story. And I was like, I don't know. And so they held me accountable. And so I learned very quickly that everybody has a story and we're all more comfortable sharing our stories when we open up and we become transparent. And I got to tell you, the most rewarding part of this journey and keeping energy behind my message is that it has connected me to people. Your story is the great connector. Stories are the great connector. The beautiful thing about these live videos, by me vocalizing, writing down my story and my message and putting it out there, humanizing it, meaning, I mean, I do have a podcast and other mediums that I put out content and information, but I particularly love this live one because of the human element that you can see me and I can read your comments and then we can have an exchange and a dialogue. It's much more real. What you see is who and what you get, okay? And then prioritizing. All of those things became very important to me because I started to see fruit and results of that. I would be out and I'd see people and say, hey, I saw you. And it felt like they really knew me. They felt like they really knew me and I felt like I knew them. And it's a transformative thing when you go to events and you begin networking and now your social media community becomes your real life community because they can say, hey, you did this challenge and it was life changing for me. It was dynamic for my business. And you're like, wow, I had no clue it was going to change lives. So your story is a game changer and a life changer for someone else. Okay. And then also we talked about systematize. There's several systems I use to get this done behind the scenes. If and by the way, go follow and subscribe on YouTube. In the notes, I put little show notes or video notes. I put the links to every tool that I used in order to not only live stream this to YouTube and to Facebook. I also put the email marketing tools I use to humanize this and to also share and repurpose this content. So I had systems and processes in place to help me activate and be accountable. And tonight, energy. Again, the source of energy is your community. The source of energy is your community. I understood very clearly in this season that me knowing my story wasn't good enough. My story was only as good as the community who carried my story with them, who began to repeat the story and essentially be my ambassadors and mouthpiece and take the story out with them. If you think of any great story you've heard, it kind of reminds me of my elders. My great grandmother was one of the most amazing storytellers I've ever seen. And I'm a country girl. I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, and we would sit on the front porch and she would tell these stories of some of my ancestors and her people she knew as a child and her parents, who I've never met, but I have this image of them through her stories. And she would tell stories about starting her business. And she was a cosmetologist and had a home-based business. So I got to learn from her and really learn these dynamic characters through her stories. And see, now they live on in me. And now it becomes a part of my community, my family. So understand your brand story, your business story becomes a part of the community you serve because they see themselves in your story. So the energy is absolutely in your community. So, my final challenge to you tonight is, as you're continuing to tell your story and go live, is that you now build community on the stories that you tell. Find like minded people. I challenge you to go look for similar Facebook groups and truly engage with them. Offer your stories and say, hey, that happened to me too. Or, hey, I actually have a solution for that. Can I help you? And so reach outside of your norm, outside of your regular followers. Groups are one of my favorites. Like over the last, I say several months, groups have become so energizing to me because they literally feel like my global community in these internet streets. As one of my favorite coaches, Coach Cretia, says, go outside of yourself. In this particular season, I'm having this live dialogue with you as we are still sheltering in place, and the internet has become our community. So energize with your community. So, folks, thank you for joining me for the challenge. It doesn't end here. Subscribe to my email list. There's much, much more. You can also learn more about how we can connect and how I can serve you in your business to get and stay activated at theactivationhour.com, and I'm dropping that here in the comments. If there's ever a way I can serve you and your business, absolutely reach out to me on here. I do a free 15-minute discovery call so I can learn more about your goals for purpose activation and income maximization. Guys, it's been real, and I can't wait to continue to see your story. Stay activated. Until next time, bye.